Ibedunusomo, Waya Lamogu. Good morning to all Edo sons and daughters all over the world. We are grateful for the blessings of God and our ancestors. Yesterday, we heard the broadcast of Mr. Godwin Obaseki, the governor of Edo State. He talked about the construction of a Mowa museum. We're very happy about it. As a matter of fact, it is very splendid. The more, the merrier. But we must have to understand some several things. The Palace of the Oba of Benin is the only custodian of our stolen artifact. Very much aware of the history behind those artifacts. How many of those sons and daughters were killed dastardly by the British invaders in the year 1897. And the great-great-grandfather of the present monarch of the present monarch of Benin Kingdom, in person of Obavora Minogbasi of blessed memory, was humiliated and eventually deposed to Calabar, wherefore he eventually joined his ancestors. We are also aware that there were other Benin sons who participated in that dastard act of the British. We don't want to be reminded of those set of Benin people who are back again to reloot our stolen artifacts. I have to take you to a little journey of how were those artifacts made, a priceless treasury. The Benin people evolved from the concept of storytelling, which was capitulated by the Uwaron, who were the storytellers of the ancient Benin people. We evolved to another civilization, wherefore we in the imperial wisdoms of the old Obas of Benin, we decided to develop act as an instrument to keep our history. So some of these guilds, most of these guilds rather, were created by the Oba of Benin to preserve the history of the Edo people and to preserve the history of the royal palace. So events were made and were captured by these prize works. Only the Oba and the Guneon, the bronze casters in Besama, the wood carvers, Owina, the workers of the kingdom, Boha, the iron makers, could be able to tell the story behind all of these things. And we're very, very happy that God gave us this amazing, industrious, intelligent ancestors of ours. Their bloods were spilled in 1897. And today, those looters, those murderers are contemplating, have resolved to return these stolen artifacts. It can only be returned to the rightful owner, the Oba of Benin. The governor went further to speak about the civilizations of the old. He spoke about the Great Benin Moat as the greatest earthwork crafted before mechanical age. Amazing. The Great Benin Moat is the only historical site recognized by UNESCO. Is even on the tentative list. One would expect, as exposed as the governor, he should be finding ways to make the Benin Moat, preserve it. No inch of Benin Moat till date has been preserved. Why is he more interested in the artifact? Anyway, we understand the reason, but for the sake of public digression, we don't want to mention some of these reasons. He went further to say that all of these incredible ideas of our ancestors shall not be in vain. Amen. They shall not be in vain. But you have to understand, amongst all of these beautiful civilizations that our ancestors built, there is something that he probably did not understand: organization. The Benin's people were the most organized of all kingdoms and empires in sub-Saharan Africa. They are still very much organized. The Igun, the Besama, are instrumentalities that were created by the Obas of Benin for a civilization that was eventually built. He should understand that by going by the context of that organization, he should be organized enough to seek for the permission or the consent of the owner before he wants to use the artifact. Let it be very clearly. It is not a hidden news that before the glorious passing of Omoyele of blessed memory, he entrusted in his then son, the Daiken Oselu, the crown prince of Benin Kingdom, that when these artifacts are eventually returned, a museum will be built for it, and the name of that museum shall be called Benin Royal Museum. The concept of Edo State, West Africa Act, we are not West Africa, neither are we Edo State. We existed, there is a clear difference between the Edo people and Edo State. The Edo people has existed thousands of years before the creation of Edo State. The Benin people has existed thousands of years before the creation of Edo State. A museum that will reflect our identity, that will reflect our imperial exploit. It's the only museum that we will accept. No one is saying that the government does not have the right to build museums for themselves. The more, the merrier. But he should be rest assured that no single stolen artifact will be placed in that museum, except he goes to his father, that is if he still regards the Oba of Benin as his father, and let them talk. It's giving the public a mental picture that there is no problem between him and the palace of the Oba of Benin. Just like some of you who want to criticize this video are also very close to him. Some of us are inherently also close to the palace. We understand that almost 2 years now, he has not even gone to the palace. All of the ceremonies, Oba Benin's birthday, October 20 last year, there wasn't any congratulation. The current Ministry of Art and Culture, since they were inaugurated, since the new commissioner came, hasn't gone to see the palace. The birth of the 4 royal quadruplets, the state government writes any letter of congratulation to His Majesty. Even 1 year anniversary of this royal quadruplet I heard a few days ago, did anybody see any congratulation from the state government? Why then would the state governor not be deceiving the public populace that there is no issue between him and the palace? Well, we know that's a clear lie. There is definitely an issue. But what we are asking is that if you want those artifacts, go speak with the owner. Let the owner give you the right to possess these things. You don't have a right as an Edo man. If you also say that it is the Edo people that owns those artifacts, then it clearly means that whoever thinks such does not have a primary knowledge of the Benin history. It was in the days of the old, before the British looters invaded Benin, nobody has any right whatsoever until be permitted to have any artworks in his house, because it was an abominable act. Very few, less than 0.5% of the entire Benin artifact were found in the houses of the nobles, because they were given the right to possess it by the Oba of Benin. 99.5% of the artifact that were carted away from Benin was carted away from the palace of the Oba of Benin. If anybody has a contrary opinion to these facts, he or she can come out and present it. As for the Iguneon, you should also know that the leadership of Iguneon they are all part of the traditional cabinet of the Oba of Benin, and they have an oath to listen to him. So if anybody is thinking of going to use Iguneon to also carve other artworks to be put in their imaginary Mowa museum, then he should know, that is, he doesn't really know the organization that I spoke about earlier. We are happy that he said that it will bring development, but development that you want to bring foreign investors, to bring foreigners to this land, it's a beautiful and laudable idea. It must be done in truth and not in lies. If you want to bring development, you must go you must go through it in the right way. We are not a disorganized society. We are an organized society. As small as Izoduwa is, you cannot collect my property without me fighting back, not to think about a big institution as the Oba of Benin. It is not a war that anybody can win, because these artifacts we're talking about does not belong to Obaseki's family, nor does it belong to Izoduwa's family or anybody's family. It belongs to the royal family. We understand that Oba Edo Oba concept, but in this case, the ownership right is the Oba of Benin, and the Edo people are well pleased. Udoba or Odedu. We are very pleased with him. So let nobody deceive anybody. Like we've said, if you have anything to do as regards this artifact, go and meet the owner, the Oba of Benin. Sit down like a son and speak with your father. Don't come. We don't have right to those artifacts. Stop telling the Edo people how beautiful these ideas are. First of all, go and talk to the owner. That's what we're requesting. If you say there's not a problem, so go speak with the owner of the artifact. When you've done that, before you cannot come to the Edo people and say that, I've spoken with the Oba of Benin, this is what we agree. No one is against building a museum. The palace is not against building a museum, but it has to be built right and has to be built along the line and the thinking of the palace. And that's what we are asking. We are very happy of the Emowa. We are very happy. You should go ahead with the Emowa. Nobody has a right to stop the government for building other museums. The more, like I said, the merrier. But we are always saying that when it comes to the artifact that was looted from Benin Kingdom in 1897, that belongs to the Oba of Benin. The state government can only have a right to possess it if the owner of those artifacts, the Oba of Benin, gives him the right to, and that is what we are asking. My name remains Imaswen Amoge Zoruwa, the Coordinator General Association of Great Benin Descendants. Oba Atokbe.
Sir.